Welcome, brave souls, to another haunting episode of our scary stories. Venture with us into the heart of darkness, where shadows come to life and the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Tonight's tale is one of reflection, of echoes from the past that refuse to be silenced. So turn down the lights, feel the chill in the air, and let's begin our descent into the unknown. A damp, icy wind flowed through the narrow streets of Kettering, swirling around lamp posts and chilling the bones of anyone caught outside. The scent of freshly baked bread from Mrs. Pritchett's bakery faded into the night, replaced by the distant aroma of rain. As the last pale hue of sunset gave way to twilight, there was an unsettling feeling that something was lurking just beyond the shadows. Anna's residence stood at the end of a quiet lane, lined with red brick townhouses, their chimneys whispering tendrils of smoke into the night. With every gust of wind, the willow tree outside her bedroom window scratched its slender fingers against the glass, each time sounding more impatient. Inside, Anna sat on her antique four-poster bed, its posts adorned with carved owls that seemed to observe her every move. Their glassy eyes were eerily lifelike, reflecting the dim glow from the single candle on her bedside table. The warm, orange flicker illuminated Anna's sleep-deprived face, underlining the purple circles of insomnia. The muted fabric of her nightgown billowed lightly, a silent testimony to the cold air seeping through the window's edges. Her bedroom was a montage of her attempts to find comfort. Soft lavender sachets lay scattered, their soothing scent overtaken by the dampness of the room. A worn-out dreamcatcher dangled overhead, its feathers dulled and cobwebs tracing its threads. Tonight, like every night, the restless anticipation was building. Anna clutched her quilt tighter, her heartbeat synchronizing with the creaks of the house. Suddenly, a faint silhouette appeared at her window. It was distant, indistinct, but Anna recognized the unnerving stillness of the shadowy figure that haunted her nights. She heard the muted hoot of an owl, yet its melody was overtaken by a silence so profound, it seemed to drown out every other sound. Anna's best friend, Lydia, slept in the adjacent room. They shared this house after Anna expressed her fears, hoping for strength in numbers. The dim light under Lydia's door signaled her wakefulness. Summoning courage, Anna whispered, "Lydia, do you see it?" From the other side of the wall, a soft voice replied, "Yes, Anna, it's back." Anna's grip tightened around her quilt. "I can't go on like this. We've tried everything." Lydia's voice wavered, the fear evident. "Stay with me tonight. Perhaps together we can face it." A gust of wind thrust the window open. Anna's candle flickered and went out. Darkness rushed in like a ravenous entity, the cold more biting than ever. That's when she saw it clearly. The figure outside wasn't gazing from afar. It was right at her window, its outline merging with the night, but eyes glistening with an uncanny light. It looked like Anna. Lydia's scream from the next room pierced the thick silence. Anna realized she wasn't the only one with a visitor tonight. The two friends were trapped in their own rooms, facing mirrors of dark reflections, and the night was just beginning. As dawn's first light streamed through the curtains, Anna and Lydia met in the hallway. Their faces were etched with a shared experience, a shared terror. The warmth of the sun seemed so contrasting to the cold, haunting memories of the previous night. Anna's usually well-kept brown hair was disheveled, and the usually spirited twinkle in Lydia's blue eyes had dimmed. The house, which they had chosen for its warmth and charm, felt alien. The walls, once a soft shade of cream, now seemed to close in on them, suffocating in their silence. The aroma of brewed coffee wafted in from the kitchen. Lydia had always been the first to rise, a habit she claimed chased away the demons of the night. "Coffee?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Anna nodded, following her friend into the sunlit kitchen. Here, among the rustic wooden cabinets and porcelain teacups, the world seemed a bit more normal. Taking a deep sip, the warm liquid felt comforting against Anna's cold insides. The two friends sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. But the urge to speak, to share, to make sense of their shared torment grew. Lydia finally broke the silence. "It looked like you, Anna. The figure at my window. It was you, but not you." Anna, swallowing hard, replied, "And mine bore your face, Lydia." It was as if our fears had swapped places, manifesting in the other. The eerie reflection of their own images, yet worn by their dearest friend, had multiplied the horror of the night. Lydia sighed deeply. "We can't stay here, Anna. Maybe if we go somewhere new, somewhere it won't find us. Anna contemplated the thought. I've tried moving before, Lydia. Remember, I moved here to be with you. But it follows. It always does. Lydia, her determination unwavering, responded. Then we moved together. A new start, a new city. Far away from Kettering and its shadows. Anna took another sip of her coffee, feeling the heat flow through her. All right, she said, hope tinging her voice for the first time in weeks. Let's do it. In the days that followed, the house was a flurry of activity. Boxes were packed, old trinkets sold, and farewells whispered. The town of Kettering, with its quaint charm and narrow alleyways, had been their home for so long. But the weight of the haunting visions compelled them to leave. They chose Stirling, a lively town bordered by lush forests and glistening lakes, miles away from the memories of Kettering. The journey was long, but hope made it bearable. Upon their arrival, they were greeted by the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the distant laughter of children. Their new home was a cottage, nestled between tall pine trees. The rooms were bathed in sunlight, and the scent of pine filled the air. That night, as Anna and Lydia prepared for bed in their respective rooms, there was a cautious optimism. The soft glow from the bedside lamps cast dancing shadows on the walls, but they were friendly, familiar shadows. But as midnight approached, and the world outside grew still, Anna felt the familiar dread rise within her. She peered outside her window, half expecting to see those haunting eyes again. Instead, she was met with the serene view of the moonlit forest. The trees stood tall and protective, their branches swaying gently in the night breeze. Anna took a deep breath, savoring the moment of peace. But peace, as she would soon learn, is often a fleeting visitor in the heart of darkness. The initial days in Stirling brought with them a much-needed respite. Anna and Lydia immersed themselves in the simple joys the town had to offer. Mornings were spent exploring the nearby forest trails, and evenings were reserved for town gatherings, where locals shared stories of the Lake Serenity. One particularly warm day, the two friends decided to spend the afternoon by Lake Serin, a vast expanse of crystal clear water surrounded by tall pine trees. They had heard so much about its calming presence that it seemed the perfect place to finally leave behind the chilling memories of Kettering. As they settled on the soft grassy banks, Lydia excitedly opened her sketchbook. With an artist's flair, she began to capture the landscape, the ripples in the water, and the distant mountains. Anna, on the other hand, decided to dip her feet into the cool water, letting the gentle waves soothe her anxieties. The sun cast a golden hue, and its reflection danced playfully on the water's surface. But as Anna looked deeper into the water, a sense of unease gripped her. There, in the shimmering depths, she saw a figure, an outline, a reflection that wasn't her own. Lydia, noticing Anna's sudden stillness, asked, "What's wrong?" Anna, her voice tremulous, whispered, the reflection, "Lydia." "It's not mine." Lydia, her eyes darting to the water, gasped. The reflection she saw was Anna's, but not the Anna beside her. This reflection bore a malevolent grin, its eyes void of warmth. Staggering back, Lydia dropped her sketchbook, the pages fluttering away. "It's here, Anna," she stammered. "It's followed us." But Anna, transfixed by the eerie image, couldn't respond. The reflection reached out, its fingers elongating, stretching toward Anna's submerged feet. Every instinct screamed at her to pull away, but an invisible force held her in place. "Anna!" Lydia's scream jolted her into action. With a strength she didn't know she had, Anna pulled her feet free, stumbling back onto the grassy bank. The reflection vanished, but the tranquil atmosphere of Lake Serin was forever tainted. The once inviting water now seemed a murky trap, concealing mysteries best left undiscovered. The two friends clung to each other, their breaths ragged and hearts racing. The sanctuary they had hoped to find in Stirling seemed an illusion. A haunting entity, it seemed, was not bound by place or time. As the evening sun dipped behind the mountains, the lake's waters settled, but the ripples of fear continued to echo in the hearts of Anna and Lydia. They knew they couldn't run forever. The time to confront their fears was approaching, and they had to be ready. Anna and Lydia, feeling the weight of their shared ordeal, decided that they couldn't merely keep escaping from the haunting reflections. They needed answers. Perhaps the history of Stirling held some clue to what they were facing. They headed to the town library, an old stone building covered in ivy. The massive wooden door creaked as they entered, and a musty scent filled their nostrils. Old books lined the shelves, their pages yellowed by time, holding secrets of years gone by. Eleanor, the town's elderly librarian with silver hair and sharp eyes, approached them. "Can I help you find something, dears?" she asked in a voice that had the soft rasp of age. Anna hesitated for a moment before asking, "We're looking for anything related to strange occurrences in Stirling. Myths, legends, unexplained events." Eleanor, with a knowing glint in her eyes, led them to a secluded section. "Stirling has its tales," she whispered, though not many dare to speak of them. Among the old tomes and manuscripts, one book caught Anna's eye. Its cover was black, and the title was merely Reflections. Opening it, Anna began to read of a legend tied to Lake Serin. Centuries ago, it was believed that the lake served as a mirror to one's soul. Those with dark intentions or unresolved traumas would sometimes see their twisted reflections, a manifestation of their internal conflicts. It was said that confronting these reflections and overcoming personal fears would break the cycle, bringing peace to the tormented soul. Lydia, reading over Anna's shoulder, whispered, "Could this be what we're facing? Our own unresolved traumas taking form?" Anna looked deep into Lydia's eyes, reflecting on their past, the shared grief over lost loved ones, and the battles they had faced together. "We need to confront it, Lyd. But together, our bond might be the key." As the two continued their research, Eleanor approached them with a small vial containing clear liquid. "This," she said, handing it to Anna, "is water from the deepest part of Lake Serin. Legends say it can help reveal the truth. Use it wisely." Thanking Eleanor, the two left the library, the weight of knowledge heavy on their shoulders. They knew the journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but the hope of finding answers and reclaiming their peace fueled their determination. That night, as darkness draped over Stirling, Anna and Lydia prepared to confront their fears, armed with the knowledge of the past and the mysterious waters from the lake's depth. As midnight approached, the town of Stirling settled into a deep slumber. But in their cottage, Anna and Lydia were wide awake, anticipation and anxiety intertwined in their hearts. The vial of water from Lake Serin glistened under the dim light, holding within its depths the potential for revelation. Lydia, trying to lighten the heavy atmosphere, remarked, "We've been through so much together, haven't we? Remember the summer storm when we were children? We faced the tempest holding hands." Anna smiled weakly, nodding. "And we'll face this together too." With a deep breath, Anna uncapped the vial, pouring the water into a silver bowl they'd placed on the wooden table. The liquid shimmered, reflecting the sparse light in the room. Taking Lydia's hand, Anna whispered, "We confront our traumas, our fears. We don't let them define us." The room grew colder as they both peered into the bowl. The water began to ripple, and images began to form. Memories, both sweet and sorrowful, played out. The two women saw themselves as children, laughing, playing, and sharing secrets. But then the scenery shifted, revealing darker moments, the accident that took Anna's parents, the heartbreak that Lydia had endured, and the many challenges they had faced alone and together. Tears streamed down both their faces as they were forced to relive their hardest moments. But they held on, their grip tightening, reminding each other of their shared strength. And then, as quickly as it began, the water grew still. Their reflections, clear and untwisted, stared back at them. From behind, a soft voice echoed, "Why do you fear yourselves?" Both Anna and Lydia turned to see a figure, neither dark nor menacing, but ethereal and gentle. It had no distinct form, but seemed to be a part of the very air around them. "We fear the pain, the memories," Lydia whispered. The figure responded, "Yet you've always faced them together. The darkness you see is not an external force, but a manifestation of unresolved grief and fear. Accept them, learn from them, and let them go." Anna, her voice trembling, replied, "How do we let go?" "By understanding that pain and joy, darkness and light coexist. Embrace your past, but don't let it tether you," the entity replied, its voice growing fainter. The room brightened as dawn's first light peeked through the curtains. The figure had vanished, leaving Anna and Lydia in the silent aftermath of their confrontation. Both women, drained but feeling a weight lifted, embraced. Their journey wasn't over, but they had taken a significant step towards healing and understanding. The shadows that haunted them had been named and faced, and the power they held was waning. The morning after their confrontation, Anna and Lydia decided to further delve into the history of Stirling. If the entity they encountered had roots in the town, perhaps others had faced similar apparitions. They returned to the library, seeking Eleanor's guidance. "You've faced it, haven't you?" Eleanor asked, her sharp eyes studying the two younger women intently. Anna nodded. We saw memories, both pleasant and painful. But we also met something. Or someone. It wasn't threatening, but rather enlightening. Eleanor sighed, pulling out an old photo album. It's not just the town's history you're uncovering, but also your own. Stirling's tales are woven into your lineage. Lydia, confused, inquired, our lineage. How? Flipping open the album, Eleanor pointed to a black and white photograph of two young women who bore an uncanny resemblance to Anna and Lydia. Meet Clara and Elise, your great-grandmothers. They too had encounters by Lake Serin. They too sought answers. The discovery was astounding. Anna traced her fingers over the image of Clara, her family's resemblance evident. Why didn't we know of this? Alina explained, sometimes families hide stories that bring pain or fear. Perhaps they wanted to protect future generations from the lake's mysteries. The old photo album revealed more than just images. There were journal entries, letters, and sketches. Clara and Elise had documented their experiences, their struggles, and their eventual understanding of the entity. One particular journal entry from Clara caught Anna's attention. We've come to realize that the entity is neither malevolent nor benevolent. It's a mirror, an echo of our souls. It's our ancestor, a guardian of memories and emotions. As the day wore on, the two friends immersed themselves in the chronicles of their great-grandmothers. Their experiences paralleled Anna and Lydia's own journey, the cycle repeating through generations. Lydia, with a glint of determination, declared, "We need to break this cycle, not just for us but for future generations. We need to find a way to coexist with this entity, acknowledge it without fearing it." Anna, holding the journal close to her chest, responded, "We follow their path, but we also forge our own. We have each other, just as Clara and Elise did." Eleanor, smiling with pride, added, "And you have the entire history of Stirling with you. This town, with all its legends and mysteries, is behind you." Strengthened by their newfound knowledge and the bond they shared with their ancestors, Anna and Lydia prepared to return to Lake Serin, to acknowledge their past and hope for a future free of haunting reflections. The sun was beginning its descent, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange as Anna and Lydia made their way to Lake Serin. The usually serene waters seemed restless, mirroring the tumultuous emotions within the two women. Armed with knowledge, both of their own experiences and those of Clara and Elise, they approached the water's edge. Lydia had brought along white candles, while Anna held a small silver locket that once belonged to Clara. "We acknowledge you," Anna began, her voice carrying over the lake, "guardian of memories, echo of our souls." Lydia lit the candles, placing them in a circle around them. The flickering flames cast a soft, warm glow, contrasting with the encroaching darkness. "We are here to face our past and to understand our connection to you." A gentle breeze ruffled the water's surface, and the once clear reflection of the sky became distorted. From the depths of the lake, a soft hum emanated, growing louder with each passing second. The entity, formless and ageless, began to rise, its presence filling the space between the two women and the water. "We've learned of Clara and Elise," Lydia continued, her voice firm. "They confronted you, sought answers, and found understanding. We seek the same." Anna opened Clara's locket, revealing a small piece of paper inside. On it was a drawing of the entity and a phrase in a language long forgotten. She began to recite the phrase, her voice harmonizing with Lydia's. The entity responded, its voice a melody of countless emotions. "You are of their blood, their legacy. The pain, joy, fear, and love of generations flow within you. Recognize them, embrace them." The surrounding atmosphere became thick with memories, not just of Anna and Lydia, but of all those who had ever lived in Stirling. It was overwhelming, yet strangely comforting. Anna, tears streaming down her face, whispered, "We understand now. You're not here to torment, but to remind. To show us the depth of our emotions and the strength we carry." Lydia, her hand tightly gripping Anna's, added, "And we promise to honor this understanding, to share it with others, and to ensure that our bond with you remains one of respect, not fear." The entity, seemingly appeased, began to recede, the hum growing fainter. The waters of Lake Serin grew calm once more, now reflecting the night sky, dotted with stars. The two women, their hearts lighter and souls at peace, extinguished the candles. As they walked away from the lake, the legacy of Clara and Elise walked with them, a testament to the power of understanding and the strength of bonds formed across generations. The first rays of dawn broke over Stirling, casting a soft golden hue over the town's cobblestone streets. and ancient structures. Birds sang their morning songs, heralding a new day. Anna and Lydia sat on the porch of their cottage, 2 cups of steaming tea before them. The events of the previous night, though deeply emotional and revelatory, had also brought a sense of tranquility. Lydia, looking out at the horizon, mused, "We've been given a unique gift, Anna. Not just the understanding of the entity, but the knowledge of our lineage, our legacy." Anna nodded, taking a sip of her tea. Clara and Elise, they were brave, facing the unknown, seeking answers. We've walked in their footsteps, but we've also carved our own path. Both women knew that their experiences at Lake Serin had changed them profoundly. The town of Stirling, with its rich history and mysteries, was an integral part of their identities. Eleanor, having heard of their final encounter by the lake, visited them that morning. Her expression was one of pride and admiration. "You've done what many in Stirling couldn't. You've faced the depths of your souls and come out stronger." Anna, holding the silver locket, replied, "We had guidance, both from you and from those who came before us." Lydia added, "This town, Lake Serin, they're not just places. They're living memories, stories waiting to be told." Eleanor smiled, "And I have no doubt that you'll share those stories, ensuring that the lessons learned are passed on." As the day wore on, the trio sat together, weaving tales of the past and hopes for the future. Anna and Lydia, inspired by their journey, decided to pen a book, a chronicle of Stirling's mysteries, their personal experiences, and the legacy of Clara and Elise. Months turned into years, and the story of Anna and Lydia became legendary in Stirling. Their book became a beacon for those seeking understanding and a connection to the past. Lake Serin, once feared, became a place of reflection where townsfolk would visit, hoping to find answers, solace, or simply a moment of peace. In the heart of Stirling, 2 women had transformed fear into understanding, darkness into light. Their legacy, like the shimmering waters of the lake, remained timeless, a testament to the enduring power of love, friendship, and the bonds that transcend generations. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey through Stirling's mysterious past. As the line between the living and the dead, reality and reflection, remains ever so thin, remember to always respect the stories that dwell in the shadows. Sleep well, dear listeners, and until our next haunting tale on our scary stories, keep an ear out for the whispers in the night. This is our Scary Stories signing off for tonight.